All right, good morning, and welcome to my very first video here on my YouTube channel. And for my very first video, I've decided to do sort of a first impressions video for a game called Logistics Expert, which was provided for me. A key was provided for me by the developers, so I have to be very clear about that. So when I'm doing this content in this review, I need to make sure that that's very clear. They gave it to me free of charge. And I'm going to kind of do my first impressions of this game. I did a little bit of playing earlier already, just to kind of familiarize myself with the controls before I actually started reviewing it, but I haven't gone too far into it. Maybe I bought a couple of upgrades or one upgrade. But for the most part, this game is largely unplayed. So we're going to kind of go through it together. Let's have a look here real quick. Whoops, sorry. I'm just going to reduce the volume here. All right, so the gist of this is that the game is based around transporting cargo and coordinating its distribution across a what looks to be sort of an industrial park. So I'm just going to maximize the game here. So we're already in. This is the main interface. This looks to be sort of a newer game, indie developer, I guess. It's made by IO Games. So the interface is very simplistic. Buttons are quite large. It's not a cluttered interface by any stretch of the imagination. The game itself seems very basic, but from what I can see, the game is more of there's some puzzle elements as well as an economic situation, and you're going to find out what that means in just a moment. I found out fairly quickly that this is not just a simulation, but there's some thinking involved as far as coordinating the cargo. So let's jump in and let's see what the game has to offer. All right, so here we are at the park itself. This is your entire park here. I believe you own the entire property. However, at the beginning of the game, you really only have access to this crane, where you've got what's it called? You've got different crates coming in. I guess I'm not sure what the name is for these things. I should probably find out what that is. But anyway, so you have access to this crane. Essentially, you're loading you're loading and unloading these crates onto the storage area here, and then as trains come by, you're loading them back onto the correct order. So you pull them off a shipping in train or an import train, and then you're loading them back on in the correct order onto the export. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go back into my crane view here. So we're just going to jump by clicking this. You've got a number of different areas here which aren't unlocked. You have to purchase these. So I'm just going to jump into the crane view. And so now what I've got here is I've got one of these boxes, or I guess the shipping containers. And here's what I'm supposed to be doing. So basically, I'm going to, I've got, this is the cargo. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if that's marbles or what the heck that is. But anyways, that's supposed to be the cargo. The method, this is by train basically. And so this is an inbound train. And these are the crates that are on that train. So I need to pull all of these off and put them down on the dock. And then once I've got them down on the dock, I need to ship them out in the correct order. So basically, the trains are going to arrive in this order. And so on the first train, I need to put on crate number 35. Second train, I need to put on crate number 275. And the third train, I need to put on 514 and 773. So this is pretty straightforward. But in some of the more complex scenarios, it's going to require some coordination as far as putting them down so that you can pick them up in the correct order, because you only have a limited amount of storage on the dock. So right now I have 4 unlocked, so I can reasonably take this. I can put these down anywhere and be able to fulfill this order. This is interesting here. So $761.6667. I think there's probably a rounding error here that needs to happen. It really should be $761.67, but that's probably something for the devs to take a look at. Devs, if you're watching this, you might want to take a look at this and maybe sort of truncate this at the second decimal place. Anyways, so let's close this up and let's start pulling those ticket containers off. So the controls are fairly easy. WASD WASD moves your crane backwards, forwards, side to side, and then the Q and E keys will move the crane up and down. Once it goes in the green here, this is sort of your targeting interface. Once you get it into the right spot, you can hit the X button once this goes green, and then E will lift the container off the ground, and you can put it into any one of these sort of yellow areas. So as you drop it, you're going to see the targeting computer reappears. Let's drop that on the ground, and then once you get it into the area here again, you can click X, and down it goes. So I'm going to grab 275, 77, 73. I'm going to grab all of these, line it up correctly. Goes green, hit X, use E to pull this up, and you'll see that on this side here, I just barely cleared that, so I actually knocked the other container. I'm not sure what the development roadmap looks like for this particular game, but probably some damage would kind of be nice if that's going to be a mechanic in the game. Oops, I'm just going to drop this. At least that way, that lends some consequence and some urgency to making sure that the containers themselves are kept in good shape. So something to think about, I think. Let me just grab this container here. And then, so now I think I have two. Where's my other area? Do I only have the two right now? No. I thought I bought some upgrades. Okay, there it is right there. So 035. Right. All right, so I'm going to drop this down here. And then in just a moment, we're going to see another incoming train. And this is going to be my shipping train. So basically, I'm going to take these containers and pop them onto the shipping train, and that completes the job. So there should be a series, I believe, of 2 more trains, or 3 trains. So one's going to carry 35, the other 275, and then the last one is going to be carrying the final 2 containers. Here comes the first. So I need to match up. Basically, I got to grab 035 because that's the first one on the order. See how it's marked on here now as an outbound. Let's drop that down. So grab this, hit X, and let's pop that down onto here. It shows you with a green marker where you need to drop that container. Once it's in the right area, we drop it, and we wait for the next one. If we take a look at our orders, you'll notice it has changed to 275, so that's the next container I need to pick up. So let's grab that. Oh, 275 is the one we're going to grab. Hang on one second. There we go. And once I'm down, I can click the X key to pick it up. It's worth noting that you can actually stack these one on top of the other. So if you need to get creative about storing these things, this is where the game gets challenging, is because when you're managing only 4 containers, it's not a big deal if you have 4 spots to drop them on and you can pick them up in any order. However, once the game starts to get more busy, like you notice I have 4 slots for taking orders. Once that gets more busy, when you have a limited number of slots, you have to really kind of think about in which order you're going to put them down, because once they're down, you can't place this just anywhere on the dock. You have to put them into a storage spot here, and if you're out of storage spots to place them, you can't move one, put it down, so you can pick up the one that's underneath it. So that, I believe, is where the game starts to show its challenge. In addition to and sort of makes it more of a puzzle game. In addition to an economic simulation. So in just a moment, we should see the next one come up, and that should be 514 and 773. So it would be the last 2 crates. So I can start prepping for that to reduce my time. I don't know if there's a bonus for completing the job in less time. I don't know if there's a time bonus. It doesn't indicate it on the job completion status, but again, devs, that might be something you might want to look at when you're itemizing the job completed summary. I can't remember. I'm going to turn off the help. Actually, that's a little distracting. It basically just gives you a rundown on what your controls are, but I think we're pretty familiar with those at this point. Let's click that off. And let's drop this guy into its respective spot. Remember, Q drops it down, and then X lets go of it. And now in just a moment, now that I've got those last 2 done, that completes that order, and you notice that I made $761 here. So there's not really there's not really a completion summary screen per se. And now that I have some money, I could go ahead and do some upgrades if I wanted to. I could technically go and oops, let's go back there. No, not you. Back to the park, and if I click on the purchase screen, I could purchase some transport driveways. I haven't yet. See, right now I've already purchased 4 of 8, so it made things a little bit easier as I upgraded my the number of slots that I can take for orders. That being said, if I kept on taking orders, if I upgraded the number of orders that I could take. So, for example, if I did this and I upgraded this before the number of slots, it's very possible that I may take on too many orders and I don't have enough storage space to take on those orders, which wouldn't be good at all. So let's continue on. Actually, you know what? We got to take an order. So I'm going to make this a little bit more challenging. I'm actually going to take 2 orders. So here's where I accept the order: 2, 1 out, 2, 1 in. Oh, sorry, 2, 1 in and then 2, 1 out, which should be fairly easy to complete. This should be another fairly easy one, just 1 in, 1 out. So those will be easy goes. Let's close out. And now you see the train coming in. This will be the import. So we can just kind of match the speed here, jump in, and go out. So you'll notice that when I completed the job, there really wasn't any indicator of like kind of a success rate. It's just said that I completed it. There was no. I noticed that there was a time, but I don't know if it doesn't seem like there's any bonus for completing the job any sooner than the rest. So anyway, so we should see another train coming here in just a moment. There's the train there. Or there, yeah, there it is right there. I see it in the distance. So this should be another import unless it's an export. It could be, well, I guess we can check the orders and see what's coming in. So it looks like 21 is coming in. So I need to get rid of this one. So this one's fairly simple. 1 in, 1 out. Oops. See how I actually accidentally knocked that. It would be nice to see some damage penalties and things like that, which would encourage the player to be more careful, and maybe some bonuses for shipping out undamaged containers and things like that, and maybe a time-based bonus for completing earlier. So something to consider if this game is still in active development. I really would like to see something like that. All right, here comes the next train. This should be 64. I can probably queue up another order now that it's set to go, so we can keep working. So here's another one. I'll just grab that right away. This one's going to be easy. Let's see if we can't get ourselves into a bit of a pickle in terms of coordination. So I don't know if the next train that's coming is going to be the large order. Notice this is a considerably larger order. 41, 296, 535, and 751. Again, this doesn't seem all that complicated. 1 train in with all 4 crates, and then 3 trains out, 2 of which are carrying a single crate, and the last one carries a final 2. This doesn't look like it'll be a logistics challenge either, unless that's the one that arrives first, in which case then we might have some coordination that needs to happen. Nope, looks like 64 is the one that's coming out. All right, so there's my targeting computer. Whoa, what happened there? Something just went fine. Oh, okay, there we go. I was trying to figure out what happened, and I just realized, oh, I grabbed the crate. Whoops. All right, so it'll tell you when you're within range, of course, when everything goes green, clicking the X lets go of the container, and then out it goes. You have a limited amount of time. So I wonder what happens when you actually fail that. Good question. Wonder if there's any penalties there. Let's explore that actually next time. I'm going to do this next one here. Let's see if there's a single. I could probably, yeah, let's grab this single, and we're going to fail this one on purpose and see how the game reacts to the fail. All right, cool. Sorry about the creaky chair. I really need to get myself a newer gaming chair. This one's kind of an older one. Let's jump in here. All right, so I think I need to grab 41. So these are all of the crates. So we have to grab all of these. Shouldn't be too difficult though, because I do have 4 storage spots. When you start off the game, you've only got 2, which makes it near impossible or challenging to grab these 4 shipping container jobs, because then you have to get creative about where you place them. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them down each in their respective spot to make life easier for myself. They give you more time when there's more crates involved. Down she goes. All right, perfect. I don't think this is going to be a very long video. I think we're going to fail that next one. And then the next one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can shoot for an upgrade, see if I can't get some of the additional vehicles or shipping methods into the game. And I think we'll start to see a mix. I'm curious to see how that will play out. I don't know if you have to switch between them as things come in. That I can see becoming quite hectic, if that is in fact the case. But we'll just wait for that other train to come in. All right, here comes that train. It looks like shipping container 41 needs to go out. So it doesn't look like they're going to intermix the trains, at least not yet that I can see. I don't know what the later game is going to look like, but it's entirely possible that they may have 2 shipping trains in and then 1 shipping train out, and you have to get creative as far as how you coordinate the pickup and drop off of these boxes. Which one's coming in here? 296 is going out now. So this is the next train that's coming in. You'll notice that the sort of the silver brackets are around it. Shoot, 296. I went there so that I can figure out which crate needs to go out. All right, there we go. So 296 is the next one that needs to come out. And if you grab the correct crate, you will get the green marker. So something else I've also noticed is that the accuracy doesn't have to be spot on. If you can get it in the rough general area, it should latch on. Notice how far out I can get without and still get a proper latch on. So see that? How the container actually moved. As long as you can get into the general area, you're fine, which I guess makes the game a little simpler to play. Wouldn't mind seeing some difficulty modifiers surrounding accuracy, maybe make that a little more difficult to grab onto. Even some weather effects. I'm not sure if weather would affect this, but if there's some wind that would affect your accuracy, and then of course some oops, a little too, try not to hit that crate, and then of course the damage mechanic in the game would be awesome as well. Overall, sort of first impressions, I think these guys have a pretty good game here. I would like to see some more content. I guess we're kind of early game. We'll see what happens with the next logistics or the next shipping types. Like when I can get this or this lot crane, and then maybe by ships, I guess, as well. And then there's a truck component here. So I'm not sure if you have to transport from one to the other. I'm curious to see how that actually is going to play out. But it'd be nice to. Oops, my bad. It'd be nice to see some additional content. But again, I'll reserve judgment for when I get into the later game. See if we can't buy some upgrades in the next stream. I think this is the one that I wanted to fail. So let's see. All right, we'll grab this crate, and we're gonna kind of hover, and we're actually gonna fail this one on purpose and see what happens. All right, so here comes the train. All right, there's the countdown timer. We're going to let that run out and see what happens when the timer runs out and we don't complete this job. It's only a few $100s, so I think I can stand to lose that amount of money for the sake of figuring out the limits of the game or what the consequences are. So far, I've yet to mess up a delivery because it's been pretty straightforward. But I'm curious to see what happens when this timer runs out. All right, so the timer has run out. I still don't see any consequence to it. Let's try putting, like, there isn't any kind of a warning or something that says your time is running out. So that might be something to consider as well. All right, so now that I've got the container down, let's let it go and see what happens to my income. Maybe there's a penalty in the income. Maybe I don't make as much. So 127, I can't remember what that was slated for. I think there might be a penalty because I think that was actually supposed to be about 200 and some odd dollars. All right, so that's, I'm going to wrap it up there. That gives you an idea of the game. So overall first impressions, I think it's pretty good. There's definitely some merit here. We'll see what the later game looks like now. Once I start opening up the different transportation methods, I'm really curious and excited to see what that's going to look like. But we'll cut it off right here, and then join me for next time. We'll in the next playthrough, we'll see if we can't get those upgrades and see what the later game looks like. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you again soon.